Can you imagine it? A wedding night that should have been filled with joy. Instead, the husband violently threw the woman onto the bed. She struggled to rise and cried out, "I've already fulfilled my part of the wedding. What are you trying to do now?" The man ripped open the buttons on his shirt, showing no trace of newlywed bliss. "What do you think I'm doing? Don't tell me you really don't understand." His face darkened as he leaned close to her ear, whispering coldly, "Or do you prefer being forced into it?" She fought desperately against his approach, but how could her fragile body ever match his strength? His eyes cut into her like blades. "I told you before, this is the debt you owe me, that I'll take it back piece by piece." Knowing her resistance was useless, she finally gave up struggling. Her eyes went hollow, her spirit drained away as if her very soul had been ripped out. She let him unleash his brutality on her body, biting her lip as silent tears fell in her heart. She whispered, "Yeah, I'm sorry. How did it all come to this?" A month earlier, unable to travel due to her health, Jing Qiao called her best friend and pleaded, "Yeah, please go for me. Right now is the best season to visit Barcelona. It's the place I've dreamed of since I was a child." She continued, "Besides, if I can't go, Professor Lin will just find someone else. Better you than a stranger. If you go in my place, it'll be the same as if I went myself. I'm begging you." On the other end, Yaya, always playful and carefree, agreed easily. "Fine, but you must take care of yourself and see a doctor soon." At that moment, Jing Qiao was already doubled over in pain, sweat streaming down her face, yet she still made arrangements. "Don't worry, I've already called Zian. Hurry and pack your things or you'll miss the cruise." But what happened afterward was something Jing Qiao could never have imagined. On the news, she saw coverage of the very cruise ship Yaya had boarded. It had sunk completely. The newscaster was solemnly reporting the details of the tragedy. Yet to Jing Qiao, all she could see was the anchor's mouth opening and closing. She couldn't hear a single word. She went in person to send her dearest friend off for the last time. The moment Yaya's mother saw her, grief shattered her composure. She lashed out, striking Jing Qiao hard across the face. "Give me back my daughter. It's your fault she's dead." Jing Qiao stayed silent, neither refuting nor responding, allowing the grieving mother to vent her pain on her. Just then, a man appeared before her. "You must be Miss Jing Qiao. Mr. Jean would like to see you." Her mind finally cleared. Mr. Jean, wasn't he Yaya's fiancé? Soon, Jing Qiao was brought before Mr. Jean. The man radiated a suffocating pressure. He sat expressionless, smoking. After a long pause, he finally looked at her and said coldly, "You're the one who killed Yaya. Are you prepared to atone?" Jing Qiao shivered under his dark stare. His eyes were ice, utterly devoid of feeling. At that moment she realized, she might have escaped the tsunami, but she had fallen into an even deeper darkness. Burdened with guilt, Jing Qiao bowed deeply to Yaya's fiancé and whispered, "Mr. Jean, about your fiancée Lin Anya. I am truly sorry." She added, "Whatever you need to vent, whatever punishment you want to give me, I will accept it." Mr. Jean looked at the humble, fragile figure before him and let out a cold laugh. "Is that so?" Then he threw a contract down in front of her with force and said, "Sign this." When Jing Qiao read the terms, her whole body trembled. It was a marriage contract, stripped of any warmth, a trap meant to bind her. The contract spelled it out. He knew she and her boyfriend Lin Zian loved each other, but because she caused Anya's death, she must bear the responsibility. She would live every moment in torment, never to know happiness again. Memories flooded her. Tears streamed down Jing Qiao's face. How had her life slid into this all at once? Jean Yenshin looked at the woman on the bed who didn't even dare cry out. That he sneered to himself. Crying is disgusting. Whatever, forcing her holds no real thrill. Irritated, he rose and put his clothes on. "From now on you'll live here. Don't go anywhere without my permission. Don't make a scene." After he left, Jean toyed with the lighter in his hand, his thoughts drifting back to a few days earlier. His friend Yilu's words still echoed in his ear. "If you ask me what's the best way to get revenge on a woman, it's to destroy everything she has, to torment her, to make her cling to a hope that will never come. Let her live worse than death." Yilu went on, "What's weird is you don't even have feelings for Lin Anya. It was just a verbal promise. Why take it so seriously? Marrying someone just for revenge, that's kind of sick." Jean lowered his gaze. Over the years he had treated Anya like a sister. But it was, after all, Grandma Lin's dying wish. Since he had promised, shouldn't he keep his word? Yilu hurried to agree. Yeah. President Jin always follows through. I can only admire that. From my 20-something years of experience with relationships, Yilu added, a man like you is exactly the type to get tripped up by a little girl like that. Jin snorted, only if I'm blind. Yilu jabbered on from the side. By the way, your younger brother's coming back soon, right? I remember that kid used to be really into Anya. The click of the lighter lid snapped Jin Yenshin out of his thoughts. Remembering the woman's tears, he felt a surge of irritation. Why am I softening? This is exactly what she deserves. Exhausted from crying, Jing Qiao drifted into a dream. Just like reality, she was trapped in a cage, stripped of her freedom. Suddenly, Xian appeared before her like an angel. Jing Qiao, don't be afraid. I'm here. Overjoyed, she grabbed his hand. Xian, I'm so glad you came. I missed you so much. But before she could hold on, that gentle face twisted into Yaya's snarling visage. Thinking of me, are you? Enjoying your marriage with my fiancé? I want you to pay back everything you owe me. Jing Qiao screamed in terror and bolted upright, her face drenched in cold sweat. Realizing it was only a dream, she tried desperately to steady her breathing. Before she could calm down, a knock came at the door. Young madam, are you awake? The young master called. He wants you to pick up the second young master from the airport. Still dazed, Jing Qiao rose and returned to her small room. Just as she changed clothes, her phone rang. It was her best friend Chen Qian. The moment she answered, the voice on the other end exploded. Jing Qiao, how dare you? You got married and didn't tell me. I had to find out from the newspaper. From the newspaper, Jing Qiao. Now that Yaya's gone, do I not count as your friend anymore? What am I to you? Hearing her friend's frantic voice, Jing Qiao finally felt a flicker of life again. All right, it's my fault. I'll make it up to you, I promise. But not today. I have to go to the airport. When Chen Qian heard she needed a ride, she quickly offered, saying Jing Qiao could borrow her brand new car. Meanwhile, the Jin family's second young master made a flashy appearance at the airport, immediately sparking a wave of fangirl screams. Mom, I'm in love. He's so handsome. Jin Yenshin's assistant called to tell him his ride had arrived. Taking off his sunglasses, Jin Shimo couldn't hide the grin on his face. Big brother actually sent someone to pick me up. I've been abroad so long, he must really miss me. Maybe he'll even give me extra pocket money. Awesome, I feel alive again. Dragging his suitcase behind him, he scanned the area. Now let me find where my brother's car is. Up ahead, a pink car caught his eye. Curious, he stopped and muttered, who even uses a car like that for pickup? So tacky and ugly, whoever rides in it is cursed. But when he spotted Jing Qiao holding up a sign that read Second Young Master Jin, he froze. Wait, that's me. At that moment, the so-called unlucky guy wanted to cry. His whole world crumbled. Jing Qiao looked at him with uncertainty. This had to be the second young master of the Jin family. After all, he practically came with special effects. She stepped forward hesitantly. Excuse me, are you the Jin? Before she could finish, Shimo spun around, glaring. Inside he panicked. Damn, it's my fault for being too handsome. I've been recognized. He yanked his suitcase and bolted. I'm not. I don't know who that is. Who's the second young master of the Jin family? Not me. Jing Qiao helplessly gestured for him to follow. Come on, I'm Jing Qiao. Jin Yenshin sent me to pick you up. Staring at the bubblegum pink car, Shimo broke down. Seriously, just how obsessed are you with pink? I'm still a young master, you know. I have my pride. Hey, wait a second. Shimo suddenly stepped up, bent down and pointed at Jing Qiao. You're the woman who killed Anya, and even married my brother? Jing Qiao turned around and said coldly, yes, that's right, so what? Get in the car. I have nothing left to lose. Revenge or punishment, I'll take it all. Jin Shimo shot back arrogantly. I'd rather die out here, even jump off this spot, than ever sit in your car. No sooner had he spoken than a sudden downpour crashed down. Shimo froze, exchanging an awkward glance with Jing Qiao. She turned back to the car and Shimo quickly reached out. Wait, maybe we can talk this over. Moments later, the car was moving down the road. From the passenger seat, Shimo smirked with mockery. Miss Jing, is that gas pedal your relative? Why are you so reluctant to step on it? Jing Qiao bit back her anger. I'm already driving fast enough. Sit quietly if you want a ride, but if not, get out. Inwardly, she fumed. Good looks wasted on a mouth like his. Hugging his sore body, Shimo muttered bitterly, "If it weren't raining and if I had money, you wouldn't even have the honor of driving me." Jing Qiao shot back, "Yes, yes, of course. Then could the second young master kindly show a little young master's grace and shut his mouth?" Furious, Shimo jabbed a finger at her. "How dare you?" Before he could finish, a loud bang echoed. The car had been rear-ended. Without a seatbelt, Shimo was flung forward and let out a painful scream. Jing Qiao gripped the steering wheel, shaken and gasping. What on earth just happened? A burly man banged on the driver's window, brandishing a stick. "You're Jing Qiao, right? Finally caught you," he snarled. Several accomplices swarmed around the car, boxing it in. Jin Shimo, still furious, steadied himself, pressed his throbbing head and stepped out. The big man paused when a composed, imposing man emerged from the car, but relying on numbers he snarled, "Who are you? Mind your own business." Having trained since childhood for situations like kidnappings, Shimo strolled forward with a curl of contempt. "You don't even know who I am and you dare stop my car? Have kidnap crews gotten this sloppy?" The goons exchanged glances. This guy looked dangerous. Their bravado faltered. One finally blurted, "We're just here to collect what Jing Qiao owes." A lackey grabbed Jing Qiao's hand, eager to show off. "Big brother's right here. This woman tried to run. You see who I am?" The lackey dragged her before the so-called boss. The burly man straightened, adopting a menacing tone. "Debts after fathers. Jing Qiao, your dad owes 200,000. When are you paying up?" Helpless, Jing Qiao shook her head in disbelief. "He told me it was only 50,000. How did it become 200,000? The men burst into laughter as if she'd told a joke, then pointed at her with taunting arrogance. 50,000. Do we look like a charity to you?" The burly man slapped a IOU down and sneered, "Look at this. Your dad promised to pay back triple when he borrowed. Too bad his luck ran out. He lost everything overnight." Jing Qiao read the handwriting on the note, her father's signature, and went weak in the knees. She staggered back, disbelief written all over her face. How could this be? The thug's expression turned ugly. He grabbed her chin and leered, "If you can't pay, don't worry that you're not bad looking. Using your body to settle the debt isn't out of the question." Jin Shimo, who had had enough, kicked the thug flat and planted his foot on the man's shoulder. With a cold laugh he mocked, "Settle the debt with your body. Name your price. How much a pound for that fat? I'll buy it." Jing Qiao stared in shocked gratitude at the man who'd stepped in for her. She could hardly believe the sharp-tongued, proud Jin young master would act like this. Jin Shimo, seeing her frozen, barked, "You call the police. I'll keep them here." Jing Qiao hadn't quite come to yet. Shimo was getting impatient. "Move, hurry up," he snapped. Jing Qiao snapped back to reality and fumbled for her phone to dial. When she finally did as he said, Shimo visibly relaxed. The young master crossed his hands and preened inwardly, thinking, "I hate this woman, but I haven't had my revenge yet. Can't hand her over to these idiots. Better to save her, let her be grateful, than get my payback later. That's real psychological warfare." Brilliant. Shimo's intimidating presence kept the goons at bay, until he suddenly felt a cold wetness at his forehead, as if something was trickling down. He touched his forehead, eyes going wide. It was blood. Worse yet, the proud young master happened to have hemophobia. The instant he saw it, his whole body went stiff and collapsed backward. Jing Qiao, just off the phone with the police, turned and screamed, forgetting to even hang up. "Why, what's wrong?" By then Jin Shimo was completely unconscious. Jing Qiao could only cradle his head carefully against the ground. The thugs, seeing this, began to waver. They cursed as they backed off. "Jing Qiao, you're lucky today. You've got 1 month, and if you don't pay up, your old man's life is forfeit. Don't even think about running. We'll find you no matter what." With those threats thrown, they left, and the chaos came to a temporary end. Rain poured down in sheets. Jing Qiao knelt on the ground, holding Shimo's head in her hands, tears finally breaking free. "This is my debt," she thought, "that I can't drag anyone else into it." With every ounce of strength, she hauled Jin Shimo to the hospital and notified the Jin family. Once their butler arrived to take over, she dragged herself back home. On the way, her mind churned with guilt. Shimo was hurt because of her. If Jin Yenshin found out, would he punish her all over again? Stepping into her apartment building, she froze. The walls were plastered with glaring red debt collection graffiti. A chill surged through her chest. She rushed to unlock her door. Inside was a wreck as if bandits had torn through the place. Frantically, Jing Qiao lunged to the cabinet, yanking drawers open, searching for the one thing that mattered most, her bank book. After a long while, she collapsed to the floor as if struck by a heavy blow. Her so-called father hadn't just drained all her savings. He had even mortgaged the house. Now there wasn't a cent left, and the daughter was left to bear the bitter fruit of his sins. In this ruthless world, adulthood comes shackled with responsibilities and burdens that leave no room for childish tantrums that we know crying changes nothing. Yet there's always that final straw that silently breaks us. For Jing Qiao, the call from Qin Qian became that lifeline. Qin Qian's voice burst through the line as loud and lively as ever. Jing Qiao, where have you been? Why aren't you at the hospital? Don't worry about the car. I've got insurance. Are you hungry? After work I'll bring you food. Want sweet and sour ribs or something else? Jing Qiao had to lean against the wall just to stay on her feet. Hearing Qin Qian's voice, she finally felt alive again. I'm fine. Just something simple will do. On the other end, Qin Qian was like a warm little sun, shining as hard as she could into Jing Qiao's shattered heart. Jing Qiao could no longer hold back. Tears gushed down her face. Qian Qian, thank you. When the whole world abandons me, you're still by my side. Life had to go on. With Qin Qian's help, the two of them cleaned up the wrecked apartment. Then came the time for best friend secrets, the two of them clinking glasses together. Qin Qian still sounded worried. She tested gently. Are you sure? This is really your decision? You're going to live like this from now on? Having released some of her emotions, Jing Qiao suddenly felt lighter. She nodded firmly. Qin Qian wrapped an arm around her shoulder. Okay, I've got your back. Just promise me you'll tell me everything from now on. I might not always be able to help, but two people are better than one, right? A slightly tipsy Jing Qiao finally managed the only genuine smile she'd had in days. Qian Qian, you're the best. Since you say that, Jing Qiao said, her tone turning serious, there's something I need your help with right now. She lowered her voice. Do you have any ways to make money? I need cash, a lot of it and fast. Qin Qian worked fast. Soon she had found Jing Qiao a job selling liquor and reminded her gently, the bar crowd can be messy, be careful in there. It wasn't an easy job, but it paid better. Jing Qiao knew that well. Still, as long as money came in, it was enough. Carrying an expensive bottle, she entered private room number 2, putting on her professional smile. Good evening, Sir. Here's your order. The playboy Yilu pointed toward the man beside him and grinned. So quick? Yenshin, your drink's here. Unlike Yilu, who was surrounded by women, Jean Yenshin sat alone in the corner of the booth. The moment she heard the name Yenshin, Jing Qiao's heart skipped. Jean Yenshin? What was he doing here? His past threats echoed in her head, panic rising. Damn it, if he recognizes me, I'm finished. Keeping her head low, she carefully placed the bottle on the table. Please enjoy, sir. Out of the corner of her eye, she noticed the man made no move. She dared a quick glance upward, relief flooding her chest. Good. He hasn't noticed me. I just need to slip away quietly. Just as her foot was about to step away, Jean Yenshin seized her wrist. Where do you think you're going? Jing Qiao froze. He had recognized her. The explanation stuck in her throat. Yenshin poured a tall glass of red wine and shoved it toward her. Here to pour drinks, huh? Fine. Then drink to your heart's content. Her trembling hands took the glass. Damn it, he knows and he's furious. But as long as she didn't expose herself as the Jean family's young mistress in front of his friends, it wouldn't shame him. So she chose to play along, raising the glass and draining it in one go. Shaking the empty glass with a sly little smile, she said, Satisfied now, young Master Jean? His sharp gaze cut toward her, cold as steel. He yanked her into his arms, voice low and dangerous. I know exactly what's running through your head. You realize this stunt only disgraces me. His stare was dark and suffocating, yet Jing Qiao suddenly felt lightheaded, as if drunk, because that face almost looked handsome. Frowning, Yenshin scooped her up into his arms. What you should be doing isn't blending in. It's making sure no one ever sees your face. Startled, Jing Qiao clung to him like an octopus, wrapping herself tight around his chest. To his surprise, a flicker of satisfaction warmed him. He patted her lower back lightly and told Yilu, I'm leaving first. Yilu, too distracted by the woman in his lap, only glanced their way and replied offhandedly, Sure, next time. Then his hands wandered back to his companion as if nothing had happened. Yilu paused, replaying the moment in his head. Wait, did I just see something off? Jing Qiao pressed a hand to her forehead. The room spinning. Must have downed that wine too fast. As Jin Yenshin lifted his foot to step into the car, he glanced down and caught her sprawled out like a drunk mess. He frowned. Sit up straight. Look at the state you're in. Half dazed, she obeyed. Once inside, Yenshin sat as far from her as possible, his tone sharp. What happened tonight? Don't let it happen again. If. Maybe it was the alcohol talking, but Jing Qiao snapped back. Young Master Jin, I'm just working to make a living. Since when do you get to control that? Irritated by the defiance, Yenshin grabbed her chin, voice like ice. Jing Qiao, don't test my limits. Her gaze blurred, voice lazy from the alcohol. Alright, no problem. Whatever rules young Master Jin sets, I'll follow. The moment she said it, her neck gave out and she slumped forward, arms wrapping tightly around his. The increasingly suggestive sounds from the backseat made the driver tremble behind the wheel. Should I quietly disappear right now? Who am I, where am I, and what on earth are they doing back there? Even Yenshin felt unsettled. What's wrong with me? Why does her clinging make my heart race? I'm supposed to punish her. Yet with Jing Qiao stuck to him like an octopus, he could only suppress the thought. She's drunk. We'll deal with this tomorrow. Suddenly, the woman in his arms stirred. He frowned slightly. Jing Qiao, what's wrong? The next second, too drunk to know who was in front of her, she suddenly vomited all over him. Jin Yenshin froze, fists clenching tight, but he didn't shove her away. Instead, suppressing his fury, he ground out a single order to the driver: drive. The next morning, Jing Qiao woke up aching all over. She rubbed her throbbing temples. When her eyes finally focused on her surroundings, panic surged. My clothes, where are they? How did I get back here? This is Jin Yenshin's room. Then she spotted the smear of blood on the sheets and her heart skipped. Just then, Jin Yenshin walked out of the bathroom fresh from a shower, casually greeting her. Awake? Jing Qiao lifted her gaze to him, then back to the stained sheets. Her face flushed crimson, fury boiling up. Yanking the quilt around herself, she snapped, Jin Yenshin, you beast. I thought you had at least some decency, but you took advantage of me while I was drunk. You really are nothing but a wolf in sheep's clothing. Yet mid-accusation, a sudden warmth spread in her lower abdomen. Alarmed, she bolted for the bathroom. Moments later, her embarrassed voice drifted out. I'm sorry. I take back calling you a beast. Do you have any sanitary pads here? The so-called beast, who'd been puked on and forced to shower 3 times, leaned against the doorframe with folded arms. Cabinet on the left. The maid should have stocked some. After a long while, Jing Qiao emerged, cheeks burning. Was it you who changed my clothes last night? This is the most humiliating thing I've ever experienced. Waking up sore all over, plus that bloodstain on the sheets, I thought. Jin Yenshin glanced at her coolly. Did you skip health class? You were drunk last night. If I hadn't taken your clothes off, were you planning to sleep in your own vomit? He paused, then added, you said you were working at the bar for living expenses. In that case, I don't mind finding you a job. He pinched Jing Qiao's flushed cheeks, his gaze heavy. A job that fits your two needs. Jing Qiao met that ambiguous stare, her heart sinking. What is he scheming this time? Suddenly, a loud thud echoed outside. Both turned toward the door. Yenshin's face darkened as he barked. Out! Jin Shimo, how long do you plan on eavesdropping? Outside, Shimo panicked, fumbling for his phone, ready to cry for help online. This is peak social death. Netizens, of course, egged him on with mocking replies, driving him crazier. And when he heard his brother shout his full name inside, Shimo shivered. It's over. Whenever Big Brother uses my full name, it means I'm done for. After a round of self-pep talk, he finally cracked the door open, forcing a stiff smile. Wow, what a coincidence, bro, you're here too. Great weather today, huh? Yenshin snorted coldly. This is my room. Where else would I be? Get over here, stand straight, and explain where you went last night. Looking guilty, Jin Shimo scratched his head, eyes darting away. I just met a few friends last night, had dinner, that's all. Jin Yenshin's face hardened as he stepped closer, voice dropping heavier. Is that so? Just friends? Shimo, I don't oppose you entering the entertainment industry. But if you start mixing with the wrong crowd, or touch anything you shouldn't, I won't mind seeing you spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair. Shimo clutched his pounding chest, stammering under his brother's crushing aura. Gee, got it. Watching from the side, Jing Qiao couldn't help but imagine two starkly different versions of him. In public, the arrogant second young master of the Jin family, loud and untouchable. But in front of his brother, obedient as a kitten. Yes, brother, that I won't do it again. Can I have some pocket money, please? The contrast made her burst into laughter, so he really had two faces. Her laugh drew Yenshin's cold stare. He seemed to remember she was still there. He grabbed the gloating Jing Qiao. You, stand over there too. She protested, indignant. Why me? What did I do? Just then Yenshin's phone rang. While pulling it out, he ordered curtly, both of you, 50 recitations of the core socialist values. Supervise each other. You don't move until you're done. Jing Qiao nearly collapsed. Why do I have to suffer through this too? She glanced over and saw Shimo already chanting in deadly earnest. Prosperity, democracy, civility, harmony. Jing Qiao almost screamed. Why are you so practiced at this? Shimo, seizing her as an outlet for his frustration, slapped Jing Qiao's back. Hurry up and recite. A college student can't even handle this. What, did you dig your brain out while cleaning your ears? Already simmering with anger, Jing Qiao exploded. Shimo, I've been holding it in since the airport. She swung her hand and smacked his back with all her strength, chanting under her breath, freedom, equality, justice, rule of law. Stung, Shimo spun around, fury on his face. You dare hit me? I was worried my brother would beat you to a pulp, so I came to check on you, heartless woman. And so, like two kids with hair-trigger tempers, they brawled in what was supposed to be a peaceful and harmonious atmosphere, as if sparring with martial arts manuals. Across the room, busy with business calls, Jin Yenshin seemed to catch the commotion, but he turned his head coldly. With bruised faces, the pair instantly froze, putting on their best obedient expressions, chanting in unison, prosperity, democracy, civility, harmony, as if nothing had happened. Yenshin had just hung up when his assistant knocked and entered, arms full of documents ready to report. Work took priority, that he didn't spare the childish duo another glance. We'll go over the details back at the office. Handing over the files, the assistant said grimly, just as you suspected, it was President Zhang's doing. He knows this plot of land is critical to us, so he's trying to jack up the price and bleed us dry. A dangerous glint flashed in Yenshin's eyes. Merchants chase profit. If it's just about raising the price, we can negotiate. But if he wants to play dirty, then we'll play dirtier. He turned sharply, voice cold. Is the setup at the venue ready? The assistant replied carefully, yes. The equipment's in place and the people were handpicked to match Zhang's preferences. Their acting is convincing. Jin Yenshin grew impatient, watching his assistant hesitate. Spit it out. The assistant faltered, then gathered his courage. Sir, are you sure you want to bring Madam along? Forgive me, but she's still young. I fear she may not be able to handle an occasion like this. Yenshin, resolute, dismissed his concern. Nothing's inappropriate about it. That old fox Zhang is cautious to the bone. We've played along this far. We can't let everything collapse now. He ordered coolly, tell the butler to get Jing Qiao ready. She'll attend the banquet at 8 sharp. Back at home, Jing Qiao was blindsided by the sudden news that she had to attend a banquet. She sat frozen in the chair as the makeup artist worked on her face, completely baffled. One moment he forces me to recite values, the next he drags me to a banquet. What on earth is this man plotting? Her temples throbbed. She couldn't go back to the bar anymore, so where would she earn money next? Then it hit her, bar banquet. A flash of dread shot through her. She recalled his earlier words. I'll find you a job that suits your needs. Her stomach sank. Wait, does he want me to be a hostess? Just then, the butler presented a set of clothes with reverence. Madam, this was specially prepared for you by the young master. Please change quickly. Jing Qiao's face twisted in dismay. This dress is way too short. One wrong move and I'll be exposed. What the hell is Jin Yenshin thinking? She bit her lip. I went to the bar to pay off debts, not to sell myself. He doesn't actually think that's what I'm doing, does he? Time didn't allow her to dwell on it. Urged on by the butler, she had no choice but to slip into the dress and appear at the banquet at exactly 8. The butler guided her to Yenshin. Sir, Madam has arrived. Yenshin's gaze swept over her. His chest tightened with a sudden pang of regret. This radiant, alluring little woman. Why on earth was he putting her on display for everyone to see? Jin Yenshin ignored his true feelings. his expression cold as he requested a mask from the waiter. He offered a flimsy excuse. Tonight's a masquerade that you'll need to wear this. Feeling toyed with, Jing Qiao snapped back. Mr. Jean, aren't you going to tell me anything? If I walk in blindly like this and embarrass you again, what then? His hand froze midair, eyes darkening as they locked on her. What are you implying? Jing Qiao sneered. I mean, even if you're sending me to someone else, I should at least know how much I'm worth, shouldn't I? The assistant panicked and rushed to explain. Madam, you've misunderstood. The reason the boss asked you here is... But before he could finish, Yenshin cut him off sharply. No need to explain. He pressed the mask onto Jing Qiao's face, staring down at her with chilling dominance. Talk terms with me. You're not qualified. Jin Yenshin's voice was icy. If you don't want to die, stay close. Jing Qiao, left speechless, had no choice but to follow him into the hall. Mr. Zhang had been waiting, his smile dripping with meaning. President Jin, it's clear you've put great effort into tonight's banquet. His gaze slid to the woman at Yenshin's side, his tone openly provocative. But this lady beside you, she's truly exceptional. Perhaps you'd allow her to join me for a little business discussion. Who knows, that plot of land might fall neatly into place. Jing Qiao's stomach turned. Disgust washed over her. Would Jin Yenshin really agree to this? To her horror, Yenshin let out a cold laugh. Since Mr. Zhang is so interested, why should I spoil the fun? She's just a hostess. But her price isn't cheap. Can you afford it? The words struck Jing Qiao like lightning. Her chest felt hollow, as if she had fallen into a bottomless abyss. So this was the job he had promised her. Bitterness clawed at her. I'm nothing but a pawn in his hand. How could I ever expect his protection? Rather than be toyed with, I might as well embrace the fall. Forcing a smile, she turned to Zhang. Since Mr. Zhang appreciates me so much, then I'd better not refuse. Please, let's discuss it in a private room. With that, she slowly removed her mask. Her refined features came into view, and Zhang's eyes lit up. He clapped his hands in delight. Excellent. Wonderful. But the crowd nearby soon recognized her. Murmurs rippled through the hall. Wait, that's young Master Jin's wife, isn't it? He's basically cuckolding himself. Unreal. Jin Yenshin nearly snapped, driven mad by Jing Qiao's reckless defiance. You've got no idea who you're dealing with. Everyone knows how filthy Zhang is. Stop her before it's too late. But the secretary was a step too slow. Zhang seized the chance to drop something suspicious into her glass. Completely unaware, Jing Qiao drained it in one gulp. Then the world spun violently around her. When she came to, she was already in Zhang's private room, wrists bound high above her head, body limp and powerless. Her heart lurched. The wine was drugged. Zhang leered as he approached. Sweetheart, tonight is ours. Struggle all you want. He pointed at the candles in the room, sneering. See that? The fumes will get you worked up. The harder you thrash, the more you inhale, the more sensitive you'll get. Jing Qiao's cheeks burned, her body betraying her. If this continued, she knew she'd be in real danger. She had to break free. Thinking fast, she forced a mocking smile. Zhang, this routine of yours is so outdated. Why not untie me? I'll show you something new. Delighted by her tease, Zhang leaned in, smug and careless. Crash. Out of nowhere, a bottle smashed down on his bald head. Zhang held once before collapsing, knocked cold by Jin Yenshin himself. Zhang collapsed to his knees, trembling. Jin Yenshin, you despicable bastard. You set up a honey trap just to ruin me. Jin Yenshin sneered, grinding his foot against Zhang's head. A honey trap? Don't flatter yourself. The real player in your house is your wife. I simply prefer a different partner. He ordered his secretary to gather the evidence and drag Zhang away. Left alone, Jin Yenshin turned to the unconscious Jing Qiao, a flicker of conflicted emotion crossing his eyes. This victory was owed to her as much as him. He rummaged around until he finally found the key. But the candles had already burned out, leaving a heavy haze in the air. Heat coursed through his own veins as well. Half awake, Jing Qiao lifted her flushed face. The moment the cuffs clicked open, she collapsed straight into his arms. Instinctively, Jin Yenshin held her tight, whispering, "It's over. I'll take you home." "No, don't leave." Jing Qiao's arms coiled around his neck, her breath hot as she leaned to his ear. Jin Yenshin swallowed hard, clinging to the last shreds of reason. "Jing Qiao, wake up. Stay with me." But dazed and drugged, Jing Qiao could no longer fight the haze. She suddenly pulled him into a desperate kiss. Her trembling hands tugged at his jacket, murmuring, "You're so cool to the touch." Her fingers traced his throat as their eyes locked, breaths tangled, heat sparking like fire catching on dry tinder. The next morning, Jing Qiao slowly opened her eyes to see Jin Yenshin still fast asleep beside her. The memory of how forward she'd been last night made her want to crawl into a hole. Determined to slip away before he woke, she tried to get out of bed, only for her sore legs to give out, nearly sending her crashing to the floor. A strong hand yanked her straight back onto the bed. Flushed with embarrassment, she hid under the blanket, dreading what kind of punishment he might deliver this time. But Jin Yenshin simply dressed neatly and said flatly, "Last night was my miscalculation that we may be husband and wife in name, but from now on we'll stay out of each other's business." Relief washed over Jing Qiao. "Good, that's for the best, that I should focus on finding ways to make money." At the cultural festival that evening, she went all in to sell her products, even cosplaying to draw attention. The accessories sold out in no time. Finally, she nervously pulled out her secret stash. Holding them up high, she shouted with gusto, "Ignite the passion, embrace true love. Durex, your best partner tonight." Passing by, Jin Yenshin noticed the energetic young vendor and couldn't help but feel impressed. But when he got a closer look and realized it was his wife, his veins nearly popped. He stormed into the crowd, dragged her out and threw her into the car. "Selling that in public? Do you have no shame?" Jing Qiao crossed her arms and retorted, "Mr. Jin, I earn my own living. What's shameful about that?" Jin Yenshin was left speechless for a moment, then sneered, "Fine. Let me test the quality of your product myself." With that, he pulled her close to the cramped car. Every move turned into chaos, suffocating and exhausting all at once. By midnight, Jing Qiao dragged her weary body back to bed, collapsing without a word. In the back of her mind was Qin Qian's new arrangement for her. A part-time job as a stagehand on a film crew, starting early the next morning. Meanwhile, Jin Yenshin, asleep in his own bed, dreamed of Jing Qiao, her hazy figure lingering in his mind, leaving him restless. He woke with a start, recalling his friend's warning. Could it be, I've already fallen into this trap? The next day on set, a wide-eyed beauty introduced herself to Jing Qiao. "Hi, I'm Bai Bing." Right then, the male lead, Jin Shimo, appeared to the cheers of a crowd of fangirls. Bai Bing practically swooned. "Oh my gosh, he's even hotter in person than in the photos." Suddenly, a super glam goddess stormed over, grabbing Jin Shimo's hand with her curvy figure on full display. "I'm Chen Ziren," she purred. "I debuted a little earlier than you. Why don't you come to my room tonight so we can exchange some experience?" She clung to his arm, rubbing against him shamelessly. Bai Bing gritted her teeth and whispered angrily to Jing Qiao, "That's Chen Ziren, the second female lead. With a sugar daddy backing her, she struts around like she owns the place, doesn't respect anyone." Just then Jin Shimo spotted Jing Qiao from afar. He called out loudly, "Hey, are you two stagehands on this crew?" Bai Bing suddenly felt dizzy, drool slipping unconsciously from the corner of her mouth. Jin Shimo smirked at Jing Qiao. "I bet you're tailing me. Couldn't get anything out of my brother, so now you've set your sights on me, huh?" Jing Qiao shot back without mercy. "Young Master Jin, the so-called heartthrob. Tell me, are you having some kind of mental episode lately?" Enraged, Jin Shimo cursed. "You dare call me crazy?" He yanked a nearby assistant and barked, "You, take the day off. That's an order." Then he jabbed a finger at Jing Qiao. "From now on, she's my temporary assistant." He sneered triumphantly. "Let's see how cocky you are now. What can you do about it?" From a distance, Qin Ziren glared at the two of them, jealousy and hostility written all over her face. And so Jing Qiao spent the day fetching tea, massaging his shoulders, running errands non-stop. By the end of it, she collapsed onto her bed, completely drained. In the middle of the night, she woke with a start, terrified by a shadow flickering past her window. She couldn't bring herself to sleep again. Realizing Jin Yenshin's room was empty, she hesitated, then mustered her courage, and snuck into his bed for safety. In the living room, Jin Yenshin couldn't help but think of his brother who had fallen to his death and his late father. To his family, he had always been a cursed star, blamed for every misfortune. Drowning in sorrow, he emptied his glass in one gulp. Returning to his room, he was startled to find Jing Qiao fast asleep on his bed. Looking at the girl who shared a fate as bitter as his own, a faint trace of pity welled up inside him. So he gently pulled her into his arms, and the two drifted into slumber together. The next morning, Jing Qiao stirred in her sleep, sensing the tent pitched beneath the blanket. Just as she reached out curiously, her wrist was caught in a firm grip. Jin Yenshin's voice came sharp. "What do you think you're doing? Crawling into my bed? Were you hoping for another kind of exchange?" Flustered, Jing Qiao shot back. "You pervert. I was just scared to sleep alone, but I didn't think you'd come back." With that, she bolted from the room in embarrassment. Watching her retreat with blushing cheeks, Jin Yenshin couldn't help but let a faint smile tug at his lips. Elsewhere, Jing Qiao was still distracted, replaying his teasing words in her head, so distracted that she missed her stop and had to sprint to the film set. Luckily, the shoot was delayed due to a machine malfunction. That's when she remembered Bai Bing's request. She pulled out a photo and handed it to Jin Shimo, asking for his autograph, that he puffed up with arrogance. "Huh, so you've fallen for my looks, haven't you?" Jing Qiao scoffed. "Dream on. I'm just getting this for a friend." Jin Shimo grinned shamelessly. "Yeah right, I don't buy it." Jing Qiao shot back. "Sounds like someone's begging for a beating." She reached out to teach him a lesson, but lost her balance and stumbled right into his arms. His scream echoed through the set, only to realize his palm had landed on something soft and tender. Meanwhile, the jealous big beauty stormed to the director, demanding he kick Jing Qiao out for stealing her spotlight. But the director just brushed it off and ordered everyone to get back to work. Jin Shimo, however, was still lost in that accidental moment of intimacy. Jing Qiao had to call his name several times before he finally snapped out of it. Flustered, he bolted away with a crimson face. That evening, when Jing Qiao returned home, she found everyone gathered like soldiers before battle. Jin Yenshin had discovered someone had been impersonating a ghost to stir up trouble, and he intended to expose the culprit. Jing Qiao's eyes lit up. "I'm brave enough. I'm in." Jin Yenshin curved his lips into a sly smile. "Perfect, that I've got just the task for you." Cut to Jing Qiao wrapped in a white sheet, hair messy, standing at the window like a ghost. She ground her teeth. "Jin Yenshin, you bastard. This is your important mission? You're just messing with me." But Jin Yenshin looked utterly unimpressed. "Squat there and stay still." As the night wind howled outside, the balcony window creaked open, and a boy slowly crawled onto the sill. With her hair draped messily over her face, Jing Qiao slowly rose, revealing a ghostly expression. "Boy, what business do you have with me?" "Ah." The fake ghost screamed and, in the next second, personally demonstrated Newton's law of gravity. On the bed, Jin Shimo shook like a leaf, while Jin Yenshin yanked Jing Qiao close, holding her tightly. Seeing her brother trembling, Jing Qiao asked with concern, "I'm fine. What's wrong with you?" Just then, the butler rushed in. "Young master, we caught them." They confessed it was all second young master's idea. Jing Qiao was stunned. "I just tease him a little. That he actually hired people to scare me?" In the living room, Jin Shimo exploded. "I only told them to tell her ghost stories. Who said they could dress up and play ghosts? That's way out of line." But Jin Yenshin knew better. This wasn't so simple. Who told Shimo the secret about the second-floor room? The butler hesitated, then admitted, "It was Madame Wu. She used to serve the old master and knows many secrets." Jin Yenshin's gaze turned icy. "Of course, she's becoming more and more like my mother. Disgusting." The sudden chill in his tone made Jing Qiao go pale. What grudge did he hold against his own mother? The servants were dragged into the living room, facing the young madame's questions, stammering in fear. Madame Wu, however, puffed up with arrogance, relying on her status as the wife's confidant. "Yes, we went too far. But we were only following your instructions, second young master. Don't pin this on us." Jin Shimo was left seething, jaw clenched tight, unable to utter a single word. Hearing that, Jin Yenshin's eyes went ice cold. Madame Wu was unbearably like his mother. He snapped, "Shimo, come here. How many times have I told you? Don't open your mouth about things that don't concern you." He ordered Zhang Shu, "Throw them all out of the Jin estate." Under the young master's pressure, the servants trembled and begged for mercy. "We were wrong. Please spare us, young master." But the calculating Madame Wu fought back. "Young master, I serve Madame loyally. She'll be back soon. If she can't find me, she'll be upset." That struck a raw nerve. Jin Yenshin sneered. Is that so? We'll see about that. Then he had them driven out. Wu burst into curses, face contorted. Madam was right. You're an ungrateful pup. Leave. Better you go than bring ruin to us all. The words landed like a blow. Jin Yenshin went pale as if plunged into an abyss. Old accusations circled back to him. You killed them all. Why are you still alive? Don't show your face here. Jing Qiao, shaken to her knees, whispered to the silent man. Are you okay? You look unwell. I'm fine, he said flatly, though the tone was thin and hard. Turning on Shimo, his warning cut colder. You went too far, that is punishment. I'll take your car and freeze all your accounts. Shimo clung and whimpered, but Jin Yenshin remained unmoved. Near midnight, Jin Yenshin told the butler in a low voice. This prank? My mother must be the one pulling the strings. They staged something so outrageous just to make me punish Shimo harshly, so she could use it as an excuse to target me again. The butler sighed helplessly. So many years have passed. Why can't Madam let go of the past? Both of you are her flesh and blood. How can she be so cruel? Jin Yenshin's face stayed calm, but his tone was icy. I'd rather not be her son. That way I could hate her openly. Listening from the shadows, Jing Qiao frowned in confusion that he's strict with Shimo, but in truth he cares deeply. Why would his stepmother guard against him like this? She shook her head. Forget it. Better get some sleep. I have to wake up early tomorrow. But when she opened her bedroom door, she froze. Jin Yenshin was lying casually on her bed. With a hint of temptation in his voice, he murmured, Come here, Jing Qiao. Come here. The sudden surge of hormones turned her cheeks crimson. Good Lord, did I walk into the wrong room? She slammed the door shut with a loud bang, her heart racing. Why is he in my bed? This is my room for sure. Did I open the door the wrong way? Yet when she opened it again, she was startled to see Jin Shimo standing right there, smirking. You dared to shut the door. What now? You waiting for me to drag you in myself? Staring at Jin Shimo's chiseled 8-pack abs, Jing Qiao stammered nervously. I thought I walked into the wrong room. Suddenly, Jin Shimo yanked her in, and before she could react, she had already fallen straight into his arms. Which room I stay in is my choice, dice for you, he smirked, his smile full of hidden meaning. Meanwhile, curled up in Jin Yenshin's embrace, Jing Qiao's mind began to race. This guy always says he hates sharing a bed with me. Could it be he really wants to fool around all night? But I have to wake up early for work tomorrow. Watching him lean closer, Jing Qiao panicked and squeezed her eyes shut, terrified she might lose herself in those dangerously charming eyes. She bit back the heat rising inside her and whispered, Jin Yenshin, wait. I have to wake up early tomorrow. Can we call a truce tonight? But Jin Yenshin simply tucked the blanket around her and asked casually, What did you say? Mortified, Jing Qiao curled deeper into the covers. Good Lord, he really just meant sleep. Thank heaven he didn't hear me clearly or I'd die of embarrassment. Jin Yenshin only muttered a quiet good night before lying down. Jing Qiao froze. Why is he acting so strange tonight? No mocking, no cold remarks, he even held me and wished me good night. This isn't like him at all. Unable to hold back, she turned and whispered, Jin Yenshin, are you feeling okay? She reached out to check, and her eyes flew wide open that he was burning up with a fever hotter than she could have imagined. Jing Qiao shook Jin Yenshin urgently. You've got a high fever that I'll call the butler. Jin Yenshin weakly waved her off, his voice hoarse. No, there's medicine in my drawer. Just bring it to me. When she opened the drawer, however, she stumbled upon a shocking secret. It turned out Jin Yenshin had been taking medication for depression. What kind of pain was he hiding deep inside? But stopping the fever came first. She held out the cup of medicine and urged, Come on, Jin Yenshin, drink this. Half-conscious, Jin Yenshin suddenly leaned into her arms, mumbling, Brother, I missed you so much. Feed me the medicine. Jing Qiao froze. He had mistaken her for his late brother. Afraid the fever had muddled his mind, she played along, coaxing him gently as she fed him the pills. Even after swallowing, Jin Yenshin clung tightly to her hand, his voice breaking. Brother, don't leave me. Please don't go. Watching him so fragile, Jing Qiao couldn't help but feel a pang of pity that he's the eldest son of the Jin family. So where did this brother come from? And why does he miss him so desperately? Lost in thought, she eventually fell asleep by his bedside. At dawn, Jin Yenshin opened his eyes. Seeing Jing Qiao asleep by the bed, his heart softened. She must have been exhausted last night. He reached out, wanting to brush her face, but just then Jing Qiao stirred, rubbing her sleepy eyes. Startled, Jin Yenshin quickly pulled back his hand and turned away, pretending to still be asleep. Jing Qiao reached out and felt Jin Yenshin's forehead. Once she was sure his fever had gone down, she hurried off to the film set. Jin Yenshin, still pretending to be asleep, blushed as he watched her back disappear. In a rush out the door, Jing Qiao ran into Jin Shimo at the breakfast table. An idea popped into her head. She turned to Uncle Zhang with a smile. "Aren't you driving him to Qingshui Garden? Why not take me along too?" Jin Shimo slammed the table in protest. "No way. I absolutely forbid you from getting in my car, and if you insist on hitching a ride, then I'm not going at all." Jing Qiao cheekily grabbed a slice of bread and teased, "This isn't your car, so you don't get the final say." Just then Jin Yenshin appeared and asked coldly, "Shimo, why aren't you heading to work? Do you have a problem with my arrangements?" Jin Shimo instantly deflated, stammering, "Oh, of course not. I'll go right now." Watching the two leave together, Jin Yenshin pulled out his phone and ordered, "Make arrangements. I'll be inspecting Qingshui Garden today as well." Little did he know the real drama was just beginning. That morning, forced to share a ride, Jin Shimo felt utterly humiliated. The entire trip was filled with bickering and snide remarks between the two. But as soon as they arrived at Qingshui Garden, they ran straight into Bai Bing. She hurried over to Jing Qiao, demanding, "Why on earth are you riding in the same car as Jin Shimo?" Forced by Jin Yenshin's threats, Jing Qiao didn't dare tell the truth. She quickly diverted Bai Bing's attention. "Hey, look, seems like the director is furious." Sure enough, the director was raging. "Shaoli, go tell Chen Ziren. If she dares miss another take, she's out. Not a single slap is allowed to go wrong, and if she can't handle it, then quit." Shaoli gave a helpless smile. "Director, she's under Boss Qian, the investor, that we can't afford to offend her." The director scoffed. "She's just a second female lead, not a goddess. Tell her one more time. If she blows it again, I'll personally pack her up and ship her back to Boss Qian." But before the message even went out, Shaoli came running back, panting. Director, Jin Shimo, young Master Jin, just arrived." The same director who just stood tall against Capital instantly flipped, bowing and scraping. "Quick, hurry. Go to the entrance and welcome him properly." Jing Qiao realized too late, her face turning pale. She cursed under her breath. "Crap. If he catches me working here, he'll eat me alive." She darted behind the filming equipment, muttering frantically, "You don't see me. You don't see me." Suddenly something nudged her from behind. Damn it. She whipped around to find Jin Shimo crouching there too. With a look of disgust she hissed, "Why are you hiding? Jin Yenshin's not a tiger." Shimo shot back, dead serious, "You don't get it. This is pure DNA reflex." And so the two of them trembled together behind the crates, frozen in place until Jin Yenshin finally left. The super glam girl couldn't help but be stirred by Jin Yenshin's handsome face. Casting a quick glance at Jin Shimo, she thought, with a body like that he must be athletic. 10 minutes later, enraged at being denied a seat, she snapped, "My face is worth a fortune. If anything happens, who's going to pay?" At that moment, Jing Qiao, carrying props, accidentally knocked a table. Water from a cup splashed onto the woman's shoes. Jing Qiao broke into a cold sweat and scrambled to apologize. But the woman wouldn't hear it. She slapped Jing Qiao hard across the face. "Who do you think you are?" she snarled. "One sorry and you think it's over? Not on my watch, that I'm getting you out of here today." Jing Qiao clenched her fist, torn inside. "This is the best job I have right now. How much is my dignity worth?" In the end she bowed low and begged, "I'm sorry, Miss Chen. Please have mercy." The crew murmured. Some whispered that Jing Qiao's acting was nothing special, but her temper sure was. Shaoli rushed over. "Miss Chen, she didn't do it on purpose. Please go easy on her." But Chen only grew more arrogant. "You messed up first and you blame my temper. Fine, today I'll show you what happens when you cross me." Then she grabbed Jing Qiao and slapped her repeatedly. Blood trickled from Jing Qiao's lip, yet she kept trying to endure it. Chen kept hitting, hollering, "If you don't learn your lesson now, you'll keep thinking you're a pushover." On the sidelines, Jin Yenshin had already noticed the commotion. His secretary leaned in, whispering, "Young Master Jin, this woman is way out of line." But Jin Yenshin only stared at Jing Qiao from a distance, conflicted and silent. Suddenly, a strong hand clamped down on the diva's arm. She spun around, snapping, "Who dares stop me? Do you have a death wish?" To her shock, it was Shimo that he sneered, "And who's really asking for it here? With my backing, crushing you would be child's play." The diva's bravado faltered. Intimidated, she muttered through clenched teeth, "Fine, I'll let you off this once." With the scene diffused, Shimo turned to check on Jing Qiao, but she quickly raised a hand to stop him. "Don't look at me, I'm bleeding. If you see it, you'll faint, and that'll be even more embarrassing." Shimo's face burned red. She remembered, "I have hemophobia." Flustered, he shoved a handkerchief into her hand. "You're the one hurt, yet still worrying about others. Just wipe your face already." Jing Qiao couldn't help but smile, her expression blooming like a flower at his unexpected act of protection. Off to the side, the director's eyes lit up. Despite being slapped, her reactions had been layered and vivid. He nudged Shaoli. "That girl just gave me exactly the feel I wanted. Ask her if she's willing to step in as a stunt double." At lunch, the timid Bai Bing brought over some ice for her bruises. Putting on a false air of concern, she said, "It's all my fault for asking you to help, that if I'd been there, I never would have let her bully you like that." Jing Qiao, unaware of the truth, shook her head. "It has nothing to do with you." Just then, Shaoli came rushing over, out of breath but excited. "Jing Qiao, finally found you. You've struck gold. Come with me. The director wants you to be Chen Ziren's stunt double." Moments later, dressed in costume, Jing Qiao stood before the director. Her figure and presence rivaled that of the so-called diva. The director's eyes lit up instantly. "Excellent, very good. Though, that bruise on your face is pretty bad." Jing Qiao quickly waved it off. "I'll put some ointment on later, it won't delay the shoot." Then she hesitated, blurting out, "By the way, director, how's the pay for stunt doubles? Should I get today's pay by that rate?" The director chuckled, half amused, half exasperated. "What a funny girl. This is the first time I've seen an actress so concerned about pay." He reassured her, "Don't worry. Stunt pay is separate from crew wages. It's 1,000 per scene." Overjoyed, Jing Qiao practically blurted out, "8,000. It's like a pie just fell out of the sky and landed right on me." She happily skipped her way toward the pharmacy. But halfway there, Jin Yenshin's secretary stopped her. "Miss Jing, the boss wants to see you." Inside the Qingshui Garden Hotel, the moment she spotted Jin Yenshin in the distance, Jing Qiao's stomach dropped. Crap, he must have found out already. Am I about to lose the job I just landed? No. With her debt deadline looming, she couldn't afford to let go of this last chance. Sensing her unease, Jin Yenshin curved his lips into a devilish smile. He turned and asked coldly, "Explain. Why were you at the film set?" Jing Qiao mustered her courage and said firmly, "Because I need a job, I need money, I need to survive, I just hope we can respect each other." His expression turned icy. "So, you're dead set on continuing. Fine. Let's see how much courage you really have." When he raised his hand high, Jing Qiao's knees went weak. No way. Is he about to make my injuries even worse? She squeezed her eyes shut, only to feel him applying ointment gently to her swollen cheek. "Work can wait, heal your face first." Stunned by his sudden tenderness, Jing Qiao whispered cautiously, "Did you see me getting slapped by Chen Ziren?" Jin Yenshin looked at her with a trace of pity. "That's right. Since you want this job, you'd better be ready to take the pain. And remember, enduring won't solve anything. It'll only make her push harder." Jing Qiao sighed helplessly. "It's not like I want to, but I'm just a gopher. I can't compete with her. If she doesn't vent her anger, my life will only get worse." His gaze sharpened, his voice firm. "If you know there's a gap in status, then you should fight to surpass her. Complaining won't change a thing. And don't forget, you are my wife. You never get to compromise." Those words lit a spark in Jing Qiao's heart. For the first time, he had acknowledged her job as a fact. Outside the room, Jin Shimo overheard their intimate exchange. His chest tightened with disappointment. "So it was all in my head." He tossed the ointment he had brought into the trash and walked away, shoulders heavy with loneliness. Near midnight, back at the hotel, Jing Qiao's phone buzzed with a message from Jin Yenshin. "Building A, room 305.be here in 5 minutes." She stomped her foot, frustrated. This Xiao is so overbearing, he never listens to reason. At that moment, Uncle Zhang called apologetically, "Young master, sorry, you forgot something. I'll bring it over right away." Jin Yenshin merely smiled and hearing footsteps at the door replied, "No need, Zhang. My medicine has arrived." Jing Qiao burst in out of breath and straightening her clothes. "You rushed me here. What's so urgent?" she asked. He answered coolly, "I'm hungry." Jing Qiao lost it. "I sprinted over here for this. This is a 5-star hotel. Do you not even have a chef?" she fumed. Jin Yenshin stepped close and tilted her chin up, his tone unreadable. "You seem to have a lot of questions." Flustered, Jing Qiao stammered, "No, I don't." In no time, a lavish dinner was laid out. As she rose to leave, he stopped her. "It's getting cold. That you'll warm my bed before I sleep." Jing Qiao snapped. She threw off her apron. "Do you think I'm your maid? Even a maid wouldn't warm a bed for someone. Find someone else. I'm done." Rather than let her storm off, Jin Yenshin stood up, looped an arm around her waist and hoisted her onto his shoulder. Walking off, he tapped her back with a flat, controlled voice. "You're getting bold, Jing Qiao. Tonight I'll show you how to speak to me." "Put me down, Jin Yenshin. You bossy devil. I'm warning you, even a cornered rabbit will bite. Put me down." Jing Qiao snapped, half angry, half embarrassed as she struggled. Jin Yenshin stopped, released his grip, and with a thud Jing Qiao landed on the bed. He didn't retreat, he stepped closer and taunted, "You think you can bite me?" Faced with his magnetic presence, Jing Qiao lost her composure and shot back boldly, "Hell yes, I can." In a spontaneous move, she grabbed his collar, pulled him in and playfully nibbled at his neck. Then she batted her eyes and teased, "So Mr. Jin, how's this little rabbit? Qualified?" The unexpected flirtation flushed his cheeks. A warm thrill spread through him and something inside snapped. He stared into her sultry gaze, unable to hide his reaction. "Do you know what rule you just broke?" he murmured. Leaning close, he whispered, equal parts teasing and fond, "Tonight I'll teach you what happens when you rile me up." Though his tone carried mock admonition, it read more like a lover's game. First, be obedient. Second, don't struggle too much. Third, don't ever leave me. Clearly, he was smitten, completely taken by his enchanting little wife. At noon, the cleaning staff peered at Jing Qiao still asleep in bed and gasped, "Wow, must have been a wild night. She's still out. Young people really have stamina." Soon Jing Qiao rubbed her sleepy eyes and mumbled, "What time is it?" 7 minutes to 11, Jin Yenshin replied casually. "What? 11 already?" Jing Qiao shot up, only to realize she was naked. Flustered, she dove back under the covers. "My $1,000. Don't tell me my stunt double career is over before it even starts." Jin Yenshin tilted her chin with his fingers and said calmly, "Don't worry about work. That I've already ordered the crew to take a day off." Jing Qiao's cheeks flushed crimson. "You could have told me earlier instead of letting me panic like that." Just then, a sharp knock sounded at the door. Jin Yenshin was tied up, unable to answer. Jing Qiao hesitated, then grabbed one of his shirts, slipped it on and went to open the door. To her shock, it was Shimo. The moment his eyes landed on her figure outlined by the thin shirt, he froze, utterly speechless. Jing Qiao waved a hand in front of him. "Hey, you were knocking like crazy just now. Why the sudden daydreaming?" Startled, Shimo jerked his head away and rushed inside, terrified he might get a nosebleed. "Bro, I need to talk to you outside. Now." Jin Yenshin, however, paid no attention to his brother, his gaze locked possessively on Jing Qiao in the oversized shirt. "Why are you coming out dressed like that?" His voice turned cold as he ordered, "Get back in the room. Call Wu Bai to bring you proper clothes. If you're not dressed, don't you dare step out again." Back inside, Jin Shimo asked curiously, "Mom just called. She and Grandpa are landing this afternoon. We need to pick them up." Still puzzled, he added, "Why would she suddenly come back and even bring Grandpa along? Bro, do you know what's going on?" Jin Yenshin froze for a second, then replied calmly, "Is that so? Well, if Grandpa's back, I suppose it should be a good thing." After sending his brother off, he sat alone, lost in thought. Suddenly, the sizzling sound of oil came from the kitchen. When he walked in, he found Jing Qiao busy cooking and muttered under his breath, "What are you fussing around with now?" Jing Qiao banged the pan with extra force and shot back. "Opening the door was wrong, wearing your shirt was wrong, whatever I do is wrong. Might as well fill my stomach first." Jin Yenshin sneered, "Seems you still don't realize your mistake." Jing Qiao glared back, annoyed. "Then tell me, young master, what exactly did I do wrong?" His expression darkened, voice sharp. You shouldn't have dressed like that in front of Shimo that he's already grown up as his sister-in-law. You ought to mind your boundaries. Boundaries? Jing Qiao rolled her eyes and snapped. What are you, some fossil from the last century? Let me ask you, aren't you a man too? If I dress like this, would you get tempted? Jin Yenshin finally lost control that he yanked her into his arms, his voice low and firm. Yes, that I would. Jing Qiao's face burned crimson. Crap. Am I really about to clap hands this early in the morning? Today is doomed. She buried her face in his chest, mumbling softly, I was just testing you, don't take it seriously, okay? Even the eggs in the pan seemed fed up with their flirting, sizzling louder as if protesting the heat in the air. Taking advantage of the moment, Jing Qiao pushed him away, finally escaping a dangerous close call. At that moment, the secretary delivered Jing Qiao's clothes. Jin Yenshin asked, Wu Bai, is the Jin family estate set up? Yes, young master, he replied. Everything's arranged. Once Madame Jin returns, the servants will be ready to accuse you. Jin Yenshin added firmly, with grandfather coming back this time, it must be something serious. When the moment comes, have Uncle Zhang speak up. Make sure I can sever ties with the Jin family. Back at the hotel, hearing that his estranged mother was about to return, Jin Yenshin hesitated for a moment before deciding to head to the airport with the others in 5 minutes. Spotting the luxury car waiting outside, Jin Shimo exclaimed in awe. Wow, Big Brother really thought of everything, even brought grandfather's favorite ride. Then he noticed Jing Qiao inside the car, dressed in a mature, conservative style, and burst into a snorting laugh. You look so outdated, just like my brother. His laughter died instantly when he realized Jin Yenshin was sitting right beside her, glaring daggers at him. Shimo shrank back in silence. A short while later, the group arrived at the airport. Nervous about meeting the family for the first time, Jing Qiao whispered, What kind of person is your mother? She won't hate me, will she? Stop asking useless questions, someone snapped. Jing Qiao had no idea the depth of the rift between Jin Yenshin and his mother. At that moment, Madame Jin appeared escorted by an elderly figure, Grandfather Jin, slowly emerging from the terminal. Seeing grandfather after so long, Jin Shimo bounded into his arms like a child. Mom, I missed you so much, he cooed. But grandfather struck his cane hard against the ground, furious. The sight of Jin Yenshin's arrival filled him with dread. Weren't you supposed to pick us up yourselves? Why did you bring him along? The old man barked. Shimo answered plaintively, My punishment period isn't over yet. If I didn't bring my brother, I'd have no car to ride in. The old man exploded, Punishment period? If he dares bully you, I'll settle it for you. Shimo tried to explain, exasperated, Don't always assume my brother's out to get me, that we get along fine privately. And I was wrong this time, I admit it. Grandfather ignored Jin Yenshin's glowering face and spat coldly, That fellow's an ungrateful beast. If he causes trouble, you won't even know how you went under. Madame Jin was even less restrained. She fixed Jing Qiao with a cruel stare. You're Lin Anya's friend, right? Her friend dies and you end up married to her boyfriend. Was that planned all along? Just as Jing Qiao was about to lash out in anger, Jin Yenshin caught her hand and held her back. He spoke firmly, Mother, you must be mistaken that I only met Jing Qiao after Anya's passing, and I fell for her at first sight. Jing Qiao's cheeks burned crimson. To shield her from humiliation in front of his mother. He had gone so far as to fabricate such a lie. Then Yenshin turned his gaze on his mother, his tone cutting. The feeling of love at first sight. Surely, mother, you understand that better than anyone. The words struck a nerve. Her expression faltered, shame flashing across her face, before she turned away and left in frustration. Suddenly, a woman's amused voice drifted from nearby. Who would have thought the cold, stern Jin Yenshin had this side to him? How entertaining. Striding forward was a striking woman with crimson hair, stylish clothes, and dark sunglasses. This was Situ Jing, one of the legal heirs of the Situ group. And her purpose in accompanying Madame Jin today was none other than to arrange an engagement with Jin Shimo. Damn, what did I just hear? Jin Shimo froze, completely stunned. Back at the Jin family villa, he openly complained to his mother, saying he didn't want to marry a woman he didn't even like. Not far away, Jing Qiao looked uneasy. All the way here, Shimo kept acting out in front of Situ Jing. How awkward must that have been for her? So Jing Qiao kindly reminded him, If you're not feeling well, I can go in with you. Situ Jing stayed calm. Thank you for caring about my feelings, but I've long expected this kind of situation. She added with a bitter smile. Born into a family like mine, I can't control my fate as long as there are benefits to gain. It doesn't matter who I marry. Jing Qiao was shocked. If your whole life is just about exchanging interests, you'll never be happy. Situ Jing suddenly burst out laughing. You're adorable, you're right, I'll never be happy. But what about you? Have you ever found your own happiness? Jing Qiao's face went pale. This woman was far from ordinary. Her words struck like a blade, exposing the truth that Jing Qiao herself wasn't happy either. Noticing things were going south, Jin Yenshin quickly pulled Jing Qiao away. Yet Situ Jing's words lingered, making Jing Qiao instinctively feel more distant from Jin Yenshin. Watching them leave, Situ Jing smirked. Mr. Jin, we'll meet again. Inside the car, Jing Qiao finally couldn't hold back and whispered, Jin Yenshin, how much longer do we have to keep this marriage? Back then, because of Inya's death, you married me just to punish me. She went on, and I only signed the marriage contract out of guilt. No matter how you treated me, I never complained. But I need a deadline. I want my freedom back. Jin Yenshin froze. Clearly, he had never considered this question. Now he was already too deep to turn back. After a moment of silence, his tone suddenly shifted. Freedom? You think you deserve to talk to me about freedom? Before she could react, he leaned in and kissed her without hesitation. How could a young, inexperienced girl possibly resist a man like him? Blushing, she looked at Jin Yenshin and trembled as she asked, What are you really thinking? But he ignored her question. His advance only grew more intense. Jing Qiao realized that if this continued, things would spiral out of control. In broad daylight, if anyone saw them, it would be a disaster. She forced herself to resist, pushing Jin Yenshin away and just about to scold him. But he suddenly covered her mouth, leaning close to her ear and whispering, Don't speak, someone's watching us. Through the car's rearview mirror, Jing Qiao spotted a man in black hiding in the distance, secretly taking photos. Alarm shot through her. What's going on? As he loosened his tie, Jin Yenshin explained in a low voice, Someone's trying to confirm whether our relationship is real. Odds are it's Situ Jing. She may be capable, but her resources are limited. Marrying Jin Shimo is her way to secure the Jin family's support, so she can inherit the Situ family estate. As they spoke, Jin Yenshin unbuttoned his shirt, revealing his sculpted abs. Jing Qiao snapped, You're such a rogue. Jin Shimo is the one marrying Situ Jing. Why would she come prying into us? Leaning over, Jin Yenshin pinned her beneath him and said coldly, I have my own plan. I won't expose myself too early just because of someone like Situ Jing. Since she wants a show, then let's give her one. The thought alone made Jing Qiao blush furiously. She had never been in a situation like this. Clutching her slipping clothes, she argued firmly, It's broad daylight. Don't you dare. From that angle, the paparazzi can't see a thing. Just pretend that's enough. But Jin Yenshin stopped her. Slowly pulling off his tie, he bound her wrists and said coolly, With me, there's no such thing as pretending. If we do this, we do it all the way. Jing Qiao stared at him in terror as he loomed over her like a predator. I'm warning you, you can't do this here. No. Before she could finish, the car began to rock slightly. Her protests were quickly drowned out by the overwhelming surge of his dominance. Meanwhile, in the restaurant, Madame Jin excused herself, deliberately leaving Jin Shimo and Situ Jing alone together. Once his mother was gone, Shimo's expression hardened. Miss Situ, are all the women of your family like you, always barging in uninvited? Situ Jing looked at him calmly, her foot brushing against his leg under the table. With a sly smile, she said, I can't speak for the others. But if young Master Jin is curious, we can always find out. Innocent as he was, Jin Shimo glared at the seductive Situ Jing and slammed the table. What are you doing? You've got some nerve. After Shimo stormed off, the paparazzi's video arrived. Situ Jing frowned and thought, had she guessed wrong? She decided she needed to meet Jing Qiao alone. At a bar, Yi Lu smirked at Jin Yenshin. Haven't seen you for a month, President Jin. You're looking better than ever. He chuckled. I've taken care of what you asked. Even if you leave the Jin family, your company will keep running just fine. So, how about a little reward for me? Jin Yenshin asked flatly, What do you want? Yi Lu grinned shamelessly. What else? Women, of course, not too many, just 1,000 or so will do. Jin Yenshin handed him his phone. 8,000 I don't have. Just one. Yi Lu glanced at the photo and whistled. Whoa, isn't this the little princess of the Situ family? A street rat like me could never catch her eye. Rising slowly, Jin Yenshin replied, I don't need you to marry her, that she's meant to be engaged to my younger brother. His tone hardened. But she clearly has other intentions. Find out what they are dias for your payment. Save it, we'll settle up next time. With that, he turned and walked out of the bar. The next day at Qingshui Garden, Jing Qiao, who was filming a scene, was called over by Bai Bing. Someone's looking for you, that they're waiting at the little pavilion, Bai Bing said. Jing Qiao frowned. Who would that be? In the pavilion, Situ Jing saw her approaching and greeted her with a bright smile. A chill ran through Jing Qiao. How did Situ Jing know she was here? Someone had been photographing them yesterday and now she showed up again. What did she want? Seeing Jing Qiao freeze, Situ Jing hurried to meet her. Don't jump to conclusions. Try this milk tea I just discovered, she said. I came to talk about the engagement, Situ Jing began, voice steady. Truth is, I don't actually want to marry Jin Shimo. Then with a sly smile, she leaned in and lowered her voice toward the confused Jing Qiao. The man I want to marry is Jin Yenshin. Jing Qiao's mouth dropped open. What did you say? Are you crazy? Jin Yenshin's already married to me, didn't you know? Situ Jing remained perfectly calm. Of course I know that, so why don't you just divorce him? Jing Qiao, annoyed, turned to get back to work. But Situ Jing called after her loudly, Don't you want to get back together with Lin Xian? A vague unease crept over Jing Qiao. How do you even know about him? Situ Jing's eyes glittered with satisfaction. That's basic skill for me. Besides, I know the real reason you married Jin Yenshin. You did it to protect Lin Xian. With that, Situ Jing pulled out a video. Take a look. He recorded this just for you. The screen lit up with a familiar voice. Xiao Qiao, it's Xian. Look, this is the university we once promised to get into together. I'm already a graduate student here. When will you come? Will you fulfill our promise? Staring at her faraway lover whom she could not see in person, Jing Qiao hesitated. Situ Jing seized the chance, placing a firm hand on her shoulder. I can send you abroad. I'll handle everything for you. Go, chase after your love, return to him. Just as Jing Qiao sank into thought, a familiar voice cut in, startling her. She turned to find Jin Yenshin standing there. Situ Jing, however, remained composed. With a calm smile she said, What a coincidence to meet you here, Mr. Jin. I heard Qingshui Garden has beautiful scenery. Since Jing Qiao was working here, I asked her to show me around. Isn't that right, Jing Qiao? Jing Qiao's heart clenched. Jin Yenshin must never find out about Xian. She had no choice but to hide it from him. Forcing a smile, she nodded. Yes, exactly. I just finished work today, so I came along. Out of nowhere, Jin Yenshin slipped an arm around her waist and said warmly, Since you're done working, go rest. If you push yourself too hard, I'll feel bad. Jing Qiao's face flushed crimson and she cursed silently. This man could really put on an act. Suddenly, Jin Yenshin turned his head, his gaze icy as he looked at Situ Jing. You should know Shimo is working here too. Compared to Jing Qiao, shouldn't you be looking for him instead? And as for us, it'd be best if we kept our distance, don't you agree? Without waiting for a reply, Jin Yenshin made an excuse and strode off, pulling Jing Qiao with him. Moments later, he yanked his hand free, glaring at her with fury. Do you really think you're clever? A woman like Situ Jing, she's seen every kind of trick in the book. So, you've learned to lie now, haven't you? Joining forces with outsiders to deceive me? Have you thought about the consequences? Pressed under his questions, Jing Qiao's heart raced with panic. If she told the truth, Jin Yenshin would never spare Xian. What should she do? Jin Yenshin seized her chin roughly, his voice sharp. Still won't tell me. What exactly are you hiding, or who are you protecting? Jing Qiao trembled all over, knowing she was on the verge of being exposed. Suddenly, Jin Yenshin's phone rang. It was Jin Shimo. Brother, mother's hosting a small banquet at home tonight. Come with sister-in-law, okay? Hanging up quickly, Jin Yenshin slipped the phone away. Jing Qiao, uneasy, asked in a low voice, Who was that? What's going on? There's a family banquet tonight, Jin Yenshin said irritably. Wu Bai will prepare clothes for you. Don't be late. With that, he turned and walked off. Jing Qiao let out a long sigh of relief. She'd escaped for now, but it was clear Jin Yenshin wouldn't let things slide so easily. Suddenly, a panicked cry for help rang out. A frantic staff member pointed toward the lake. Someone just fell in. What do we do? I can't swim. Without hesitation, Jing Qiao dove straight into the water. She swam hard to the bottom and spotted the drowning man. Using the last of her strength, she hauled him up to the surface. But he remained unconscious. Without a second thought, she dropped to her knees and began resuscitation, even giving him mouth-to-mouth. At last, after her relentless effort, the man's eyes fluttered open and he turned his head, watching Jing Qiao walk away, his heart unable to calm. That evening, the banquet at the Jin family villa went on as planned. Madame Jin brought Situ Jing along and warmly exchanged pleasantries with her friend, Madame Yen. Situ Jing, with a tongue sharp yet sweet, poured out compliments non-stop, her words flying like cannon fire. Overwhelmed, Madame Yen exclaimed, "What an amazing daughter-in-law you've chosen." She even joked about sending her already married son to steal her away. Madame Jean laughed so hard, her smile nearly reached the back of her neck. Just then, Jean Shimo appeared in a formal suit, saying he was looking for his grandfather. Madame Jean scolded him non-stop. "Can't you behave? Your grandfather hasn't been kidnapped by some snake spirit, go keep Situ Jing company instead." Shimo rolled his eyes in exasperation. Seeing her son so unreliable, Madame Jean tried to cover for him. "Once a boy gets married, he'll mature. And today won't everything be settled?" But she stopped mid-sentence, swallowed her words, and quickly walked off with Madame Yen. Shimo was left puzzled. Why so hesitant? Could something big be about to happen? At that moment, Jing Qiao, dressed in a pastel princess gown, called out to him asking, "Have you seen Jin Yenshin?" Her pure, innocent look left Shimo blushing and tongue-tied. "Well, if you beg me, maybe I'll consider taking you to him." Jing Qiao, unimpressed, turned and walked away. Nearby, with eyes sharp as a microscope, Situ Jing noticed everything. Shimo's attitude toward Jing Qiao was clearly different from how he treated others. An unexpected discovery. She stepped closer to him, lowering her voice. "If I'm not mistaken, young Master Jin, you like Jing Qiao, don't you?" Good grief. Shimo nearly spat his wine across the room. His legs went weak as he stammered in embarrassment. "Don't talk nonsense." With a smug smile, Situ Jing handed him a handkerchief. "Don't rush to deny it. If I had a way for you to be with her, would you consider it?" Jin Shimo broke out in a cold sweat, but hesitation flickered in his eyes. Just then, a loud crash echoed from one of the villa's rooms, drawing Jing Qiao's attention. Inside, the Jin family patriarch was raging because the servant's tea didn't suit his taste. "Go fetch Wu Ma. She knows exactly how I like it." Jin Yenshin cut in sharply. "Wu Ma has already been dismissed." "Dismissed?" The old man shot to his feet, his face twisted in disbelief. "You dared to dismiss Wu Ma?" "I did." Jin Yenshin's voice was firm. The old man's fury exploded. He raised his hand and slapped him hard across the face. "So your wings have grown hard enough to defy me, have they? You dare lay off my people?" Jin Yenshin stared back at his grandfather like a cornered beast, silent, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. Outside the door, Jing Qiao covered her mouth in shock that Wu Ma had been fired for deliberately pretending to be a ghost. Jin Yenshin wasn't wrong. Why punish him so harshly over a servant? The patriarch grew even more agitated, his words turning vicious. "You touch my people, you're nothing but a dog of the Jin family. Hold the line if you can, if not, pack your things and get out." Jing Qiao could no longer stand by. She burst into the room, furious. "You've wronged Jin Yenshin." Patriarch Jin was stunned, and even Jin Yenshin hadn't expected Jing Qiao to stand up for him. Wu Ma was fired because she pretended to be a ghost and caused trouble, Jing Qiao argued. Jin Yenshin did nothing wrong. You shouldn't have treated him this way, much less struck him. Please apologize to him. The old man nearly keeled over with rage. Absurd. Since when do elders apologize to juniors? And who do you think you are to lecture me? Jing Qiao refused to back down. Even someone like me knows you must apologize when you're wrong. You with your lofty status as an elder, don't you understand that basic truth? The patriarch turned red with fury, raising his cane and swinging it straight at her. Terrified, Jing Qiao squeezed her eyes shut. A loud thud rang out. When she opened them again, she saw Jin Yenshin standing in front of her, taking the full blow of the cane. His face twisted with menace as he glared sideways at his grandfather. "Even if I'm nothing but the Jin family's dog, corner me and I'll bite." His vicious gaze was like that of a starving wolf. The old man trembled, shaken to his core by his grandson's ferocity. From this day on, I, Jin Yenshin, have nothing more to do with the Jin family. With that, he seized Jing Qiao's hand and stormed out. Meanwhile, Jin Shimo learned a secret. Tonight's banquet was actually an engagement party for Situ Jing and himself. Only the two brothers and Jing Qiao had been kept in the dark about the whole setup. Shimo froze. What was his mother thinking? Forcing a woman on him wasn't enough. Now she wanted to lock him into an engagement. He decided he had to confront her. But the calculating Situ Jing already had a plan. It's useless to go ask them. If they respected you, they wouldn't have hidden this engagement from you. Besides, this won't be the last time. Can you stop them every single time? She pressed. I have a simple way to make them give up. At the banquet, I'll announce, I want to marry Jin Yenshin. I know he's already married, but isn't the woman you like his wife? I marry Jin Yenshin. You go after Jing Qiao. Isn't that a win-win? She suggested. Think it over. Shimo hesitated. Could he betray the brother who had always treated him so well? At that moment, Situ Jing's phone buzzed. She learned that Jin Yenshin planned to sever ties with the Jin family. Shimo was stunned. Seizing the moment, Situ Jing egged him on. You heard that, right? We have only tonight. Do we cooperate or not? Decide. I'll stall and delay the announcement. You bring Jin Yenshin back. If you refuse, there's nothing I can do. Shimo found himself torn. Between the girl he loved and the brother he respected, which path should he take? Elsewhere, Jing Qiao stared at the silent Jin Yenshin. 1,000 questions swirled in her heart, yet she kept them all inside. At last, Jin Yenshin spoke first. You've been staring at me like you're trying to burn a hole through me. If you've got questions, ask now, or the chance will be gone. Then he added coldly, but make sure you use your brain first. Jing Qiao shot him a look of disdain. She asked, why is your relationship with your family so bad? Why wouldn't your grandfather even listen to you, hitting you instead? How can family treat each other like that? Family. A trace of sorrow flickered in Jin Yenshin's eyes. That word has been distant from me for a long time. He finally revealed the secret buried deep in his heart. When I was born, someone said I'd bring misfortune to my family. My grandfather believed it and wanted to cast me out. Only my father refused to believe such nonsense. He risked everything to keep me. But on a rainy day, while bringing me a set of paintbrushes, he died in a car accident. The Hardensio's face sank into grief. Remember the little boy Shimo once used to scare you with? His name was Jin Yenshin. He was my brother. Jing Qiao's heart clenched. I remember. When he was sick, he mistook me for his brother. I thought he was just confused. I never imagined he was real. She asked cautiously, so, where is he now? Jin Yenshin lifted his head, gazing at the stars. The year after my father died, he climbed up to fetch a kite for me. He fell from the second floor. Right in the room you stayed in. I watched it happen. That kite was a gift from my father. I couldn't catch him. That moment will haunt me for the rest of my life. The weight of those painful memories made Jin Yenshin rise to his feet. Those wounds had never truly healed. Jing Qiao had never seen him like this, vulnerable, almost like a lost child. She gently held his arm and whispered, it's all in the past. We must keep moving forward. In that instant, she became his only source of strength.